Man, I'm Trendsetter Shady. Y'all know who the fuck I am. I'm the leader of the division. Y'all gonna remember the risk takers. Yo, that's when I walk down on them right now, A-Rock. Yo, watch this. Y'all ain't gotta do nothing for me, I do my own thing. Y'all ain't gotta repost nothing, I got my own gang. Y'all ain't really keeping up with me, I'm in my own lane. I don't need a nigga to shine, I got my own chain. I don't need no cosign, nigga, I got my own name. See me outside of my own, cause I'm my own man. No Philly run through this shit, I'm in my own lane. I get you feeling, I can't describe when the low lane. Love me up the top side, homies down the low lane. No, I'm from the north side, I ain't with the horse shit. I was up in grass, nigga, I was on my bullshit. Running through that high school, them niggas ain't retarded. Whoa, you just a new nigga. Your mama and your daddy about to boo-hoo, nigga. Whoa, you just a too cool nigga. And we done hit your baddie with the choo-choo, nigga. Whoa. I put that work in like I'm A-Wag. I put that work in like I'm old dog. I move that cane like I'm a minister. You know me, I get them zones off. I put that work in like I'm A-Wag. I put that work in like I'm old dog. I move that cane like I'm a minister. You know me, I get them zones off.
Coming from mine, these niggas ain't coming like me. I'm stamped in the hood, I bet you they say I'm a G. Don't fuck with no frauds, them niggas can't be around me. My shooter, he dog, you know that he killin' for me. He shooting like Curry, he dropping like 30, he scored. Don't come for no bitches, just fuck them cause bitches be hard. Pull up in that Jag or be we doing the force. You flex with that money, we fly, my nigga, we on you. We running your crib, I bet all them shooters gon' score you. We got different guns, we straight like the Navy, you know me. Can't get in my range, my shooters ain't laying you on me. I hang with them hitters, too militant, that be my army. I put that work in like I'm A-Wag. You know me, I get that load off. And I hang right with them killers, nigga. With some niggas that be told off.
I put that work in like I'm A-Wag. I put that work in like I'm old dog. I move that cane like I'm a minister. You know me, I get them zones off. I put that work in like I'm A-Wag. I put that work in like I'm old dog. I move that cane like I'm a minister. You know me, I get them zones off. You know me, I get the whole thing gone. 100 on the truck and I don't hold nothing long. Niggas on my line, they want the cocaine flowing. Niggas keep sending these agents at me, they grown. You say you want a block, but never had you a corner. Fuck you think I'm stupid, my nigga, I'm too affluent. Fuego, we gon' burn this bitch down. Bomb every day on them niggas, look at them now. Try me, we gon' drop somebody's head. Gunshot, somebody dying here. Yeah, ain't no I'm certified everywhere I go. I'm saying this what I say it is. For sure, I got some niggas on the west side. One flight, AB here, so bring your best out. Automatic machine guns, don't bring no vest out. Fuck y'all, mention my name and I'm the best out. Come on.
Dark and Lovely favors this hair.
Is it just me who spends hours looking at board?
I ain't disrespecting you, son. You want it to be one way. What? You want it to be one way. Yeah, you want it to be. Stop saying that. What is the other way?
Y'all know what's up. I handle pressure with finessing and aggression. You see me in the streets, don't ask me no fucking questions. Don't reach your hand for mine, nigga, just keep it stepping. Cause a second chance to get that close is out the question. The water bloody right now, my vision blurry. And I really know the meaning, believe me, my niggas sturdy. Whole lot of talking, I see you niggas, I heard. Up against trendsetters, believe me, niggas get murdered. Drop him and he live, believe me, it's not over. Ambulance rushing, they pull him out and we smoking. Real key here, you niggas some fucking jokers. You feel like you wanted, the invitation is open. I know the price I'm paying for carrying it like a soldier. I'm a student of this game, I actually went out and taught it. Cause all my little niggas run around with like 40. I study niggas' habits, you know me nigga, I'm hardest. Got a couple demons, I shoot it out in the dark with. Just like Shep used to shoot it out in the park with. Every time I catch that ball, they like, oh shit. Quick release, flick of the wrist, nigga, that's all net. The game's over, I know you see the curtains closing. Right around the time, everything's looking open for me. They know I'm about a penny, but they loafing on me. Whole lot with 50 on me, be easy. Niggas think they rockin' my cradle, but I ain't sleepy. Nowadays, speaking your mind, it's like treason. They want my head, put up on a platter. Try and play the kid, but I don't see you niggas laughing. Even if I only had 100, that's a basket. 60 niggas doing 60,000, that's embarrassing. I can ask the plug to hold 60 on my character. He gon' say flip and run up cities in America. Run up cities in America.
DeVry is proud to introduce several new
Melon little city. 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 Yeah. Melon little city. Melon little city. Yo. I survived the shit Jay was talking about. Word. Before I knew what Jay was talking about. Real shit. Been in situations you ain't walking out. Been in situations I ain't talking about. Just getting this money is what it's all about. Let's get it. Right. G-checking these niggas daily. Counting up the money, dividing with my family. Running through the streets, reminding niggas of laugh. Yo, bro. Fuck on the war. This year I'm coming for Grammys. Coming for I'm the king around this bitch. Yeah. Keep it 100, I do my thing around this bitch. They know that I run it, you made the lane for me, rich. I'm ducking this Rico and all the Ricos in my clique. Fuck alright. Melon little city. 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 Yeah. Melon little city. Melon little city. Yeah.
Yo, get the money, boy, that's mandatory. You got it taken, ain't nobody gon' hand you glory. Self-explanatory, nigga, let me tell my story. Let me tell you how I sold them 20s like they 40s. Let me tell you how I had to make an ounce worth. They catch me, I ain't talking like my mouth hurt. Point guards with me, they be shooting, nigga. We ain't selling guns. That's stupid, nigga. Keep the gangsters with me, they gon' take your Cuban, nigga. If the fam ain't happy, then you losing, nigga. If you looking for me, roll through the hood. Every pound making, smoke so good. One stop if I could. I'm addicted to this shit. Lupe on these hoes, I just kick it with your bitch. Never played ball, but I ran with them next. My man came home, now my hands on the breast. Haters wanna wet me, want blood on my Giuseppe's. 100 shots running like he fell off the chest. I was banging at your door like Roscoe. Painting pictures for the ghetto hood costume. Spread your wings, fly high, hop out of some 9-5s. The world is yours, nigga. Go on, get it till you die. Don't mix the money with the pride. I should've eat you alive. Tell them hoes never mind. I should've slow up your grind. They want us on them food stamps. Make it out, who can? Tim's like this boot camp. Hoodie on like it's raining. Grind, niggas stop complaining. It get cold when the heat on, flow when the beat on. I wasn't thinking rap, I was trying to get a peak on. Flying with a ski on, yeah, that's the shit that we on. Crazy, but I love this life. Weapon with a butter knife, I'm trying to pull away. So much shit I'm going
Melon little city. 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 Yeah. Melon little city. Yeah. Melon little city. Yeah. The kid Frankie.
Okay, we're downloading A-Game's formula.
3, 2, 1.
What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform, man. Much love. Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. If you are tuned in, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure y'all smash that like button on the way in. Make sure y'all smash that like button on the way in. After y'all hit that like button, make sure y'all share the show. Share the broadcast, share it on your community tab, your Discord server, anywhere that you share videos. Make sure you share this show. It's very much appreciated. If you're new here, if you're a first-time listener, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to all my new supporters. Shout out to all the new subscribers, all the new listeners. Much love to y'all, man. Shout out to my whole A-Game family, A-Game Nation in the building. We are here. Salute to everybody in the chat room. We'll get some shout outs. Shout out to Panda Berries in the building. Salam to you. Salute to Alonzo Hall. Shout out to the Crimson Cure. Salute. Shout out to my brother, Sir. Shout out to my brother, the Bishop, in the building. Shout out to Double C in the building. Shout out to Shango Zulu on the check-in. Shout out to everybody that's in the clouds. Shout out to everybody. Salute. Make sure y'all financially support the show. You could do so by hitting the Cash App. Cash App $ Sheep Stay Sleep TV. That's Cash App $ Sheep Stay Sleep TV is where you can go to financially support the show. If you have any questions, any comments you would like me to acknowledge, go ahead and put it through with your super chat and I will post them. All other donation links will be in the chat room. Once again, I appreciate the love and the support. Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. We are here. And today we're going to get into it. Today, we're going to get into it. Y'all see today's title, man. Growing up with the internal 5, not the external 5. Growing up with the internal 5, not the external 5. Now, what do I mean by the internal 5? And what do I mean by the external 5? Now, to everyone that's been rocking with Sheep Stay Sleep TV, y'all know what's going on. Y'all understand what I mean by the internal 5 and the external 5. But to everyone who don't know, and if you need a refresher, here is what it is. The internal 5 and the external 5. Here it is. The internal 5 and the external 5. The internal 5 is the first 5 of the 10 life value system. As y'all can see here on this chart. The internal 5 is spiritual value, health value, family value, appearance value, and dwelling value. The external 5 is mobility, education, profession, leisure, and wealth. Now, based on this chart right here, right, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say the majority of us black men who are in this space, the majority of the black men that support my channel, a lot of you brothers, including myself, we grew up with some of the internal 5 more than the external 5. Now, y'all can let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Sound off in the chat room, brothers. If you're in the chat room, sound off in the chat. If you're in the chat room, sound off in the chat room. A lot of us grew up in church. Some of us, grew up in Islam. But we had a spiritual base. A lot of us, we had a spiritual base. Whether it was a base that we didn't agree with or didn't follow a lot, we had a spiritual base. We was taught the concept of believing in God, knowing who God is, and having a relationship with God. Also, we was raised to have integrity. We was raised to have a moral compass. We was raised to follow principles. So we had spiritual value. We knew what it was to have spiritual value. This is no secret to us. No secret to us black men. Now, here's the value where things start to go wrong. And it's in the health department. And a lot of us grew up eating the wrong stuff, listening to the wrong stuff, drinking the wrong stuff. So from young, optimal health was not promoted to us as black men. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me grab my drink. Okay, we back. Shout out to everybody in the chat. But as I was saying, we usually have some form of a spiritual base. Even if you didn't grow up in church, you may have not grown up where in a family religion was really pushed. You still had principles. You still was taught to have morals, have integrity. Those are all spiritual values. Now, we wasn't taught to be healthy. We was taught to go outside and run around and, that was our exercise. But a lot of us were not raised to eat a certain way. A lot of us grew up not eating correctly. A lot of us grew up drinking tap water. Shout out to New York City because we do got the best tap water in the world. So shout out to us for that. I had to throw the sheep in there for that one, you know. But so I grew up drinking New York City tap water, which is still not good. I'm not sitting here glorifying drinking tap water because it's still not good. But health was, you know, being in a good bill of health was never promoted to us growing up. It wasn't. And as you can see, health is the second most important life value in our lives. You see, this is why later on in life, we have to go to counseling, and we have to go back and look in our family and look in our family's medical history and really begin to see that as a thing of importance, brothers, because you may not understand why you always depressed, you always stressed, and it could be something that you've actually inherited, because it can actually come from a mental disorder that you may have, or that you may be on a spectrum of, that's in your family, but you may not notice. So this is something that we have to begin to find out, but this is something we didn't grow up, you know, having a real good grasp on. So even though we had a belief in God and a religion and things like that, I'm gonna say the way that we interpreted, the way we chose to believe and practice our religion is why our health is not good. Because if you actually follow, you know, in the good books, they have the dietary laws, you know. They tell you how to eat. Shout out to Hills Inn. Appreciate you, family. But, you know, we choose to eat what we want to eat and live how we want to live. And that caters to a bad bill of health for us. So from young, you know, we wasn't really taught how to live a healthy lifestyle. You know, some of us did, but a lot of us didn't, because a lot of us, we grew up poor. So we had to eat what was there. We had to eat what we can afford. And when you can eat what you can afford, a lot of times it's not healthy for the most part. Now, the third value is family. And I'm going to play an interview in a couple of minutes from Young Dolph. Shout out to Young Dolph. And this interview was the inspiration for this stream, because in this interview, he actually demonstrates exactly, or he speaks on rather exactly what the title is. You see? And you can even break this down with growing up with the men who grew up with the internal five and not the external five. A lot of those guys in this space are called Pookie and Ray Ray. The men in this space who specialize in spiritual value, health value, family value, appearance value, and dwelling value, those guys are considered Pookie and Ray Ray. If you look at the archetypes of Pookie and Ray Ray, a lot of those guys are health conscious, because you know Ray Ray stay in shape. You know, usually Pookie and Ray Ray could fight. Usually Pookie and Ray Ray believe in something. They have some type of belief system. They believe in God, even if they street dudes and gangsters. And a lot of them come from a family. They come from a family background. It may not be a good family background, but just like y'all are going to hear Young Dolph didn't come from a good family background, but he was still told and taught to have certain values. Certain values was still instilled in him by these people in his family. See? Like Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray always pay attention to their appearance. They make sure they look good when they go out. They make sure that they're not looking a certain way to people. Now, Pookie and Ray Ray usually come from a bad, poor dwelling. That the conditions in which they live in is usually not too good, but that's because their money not together. But then on the other side, you got the so-called educated lames who specialize in the external 5, which is mobility, education, profession, leisure, and wealth. You see? See, the educated lame, he specializes in that. You see? And this is how he communicates. This is how he presents himself to the world. His appearance value is based on his education and his profession and his money. See, he thinks that those things can make him appear to be a real person to the world when it doesn't. Because appearance value is an internal value. You see? Because the way you appear to the world is how you first see yourself. So if you see yourself as a wallet, if you see yourself as a degree, if you see yourself as a job title, this is why you're not respected. Because you don't understand that appearance value is something internal, not external. You cannot pay for that. This is why you see today hip hop fashion pretty much rules the world. Who don't want to look like a hip hopper? Who don't? It is because the expression of how they wear the clothing, that speaks to their appearance value. And other people across the world want to emulate that image. Other people across the world will pay for that image. That's appearance value. Why do you think they have statues of some of us in different countries? They got statues of black men. But this is something that we were taught when we were poor. You see, always make sure you get a haircut. Always make sure you keep your shoes clean, even if you only got a couple of pair. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. Shout out to my brother, the Book of Ronan. It's not about how many pairs of shoes you have. It's about how clean and crisp they are when you put them on and when people see you with them on. If they see you with the same pair of sneakers all the time, if they're in good condition, how they know that's even the same pair? See, we were taught this when we were poor, when we didn't have the external 5. My mother used to always tell me, and my father used to always tell me, boy, make sure you stay clean. Make sure your undergarments are always clean. Your t-shirt, your socks, and your underwear, just in case you might have to go to the hospital. Just in case you might end up, like my father used to tell me as I got older, you might end up and wake up at a chick in a broad bed or something. So you always want to make sure you have clean clothes on. See, yeah, we were poor, but you don't want to appear to the world as poor. You see? Growing up with the internal 5 and not the external 5. Number 5 is dwelling. Dwelling. We grew up in poor living conditions. You know, I had holes in my ceiling growing up. My dad used to put buckets under certain parts, like under the window sills and stuff, because when it used to rain in the house. When it used to get cold, my dad used to get big contractor bags. He'd bring contractor bags home when he used to do construction, and he used to put them against the window sills and get a staple gun or get a bunch of duct tape and duct tape the whole window sill. So in the wintertime in New York, we won't be so cold to keep some of the air out. That was our living conditions. That is the conditions in which we lived under. It's because we didn't have the external 5, but we had the internal 5. We still had somewhere to stay. We wasn't homeless. I wasn't hungry. I never stunk. None of that. So I had the internal 5. Now, were they all up to par? No. 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 But we had them. We had them. And see, I got to shout out my brother Father's Time, man. Because with me just going over the 10 life value system again, it just made me realize why Black men are so resilient and charismatic. Why we never give up. It is because we have those internal 5 values. That is why. Now I get it. Because you know how they always say, you know, black men are resilient. Black men are this, black men are that. It's because we have those internal 5. And see, remember, I already did the show Breaking Down the Secret, the book, which is the connection between spiritual value and wealth. This is why you have a Jay-Z. This is why you have a 50 Cent. This is why you have a Rick Ross or Russell Simmons. These dudes who grew up with nothing but what they believed in, but ambition, but drive. You see? A family. A family. Even if it was in the streets, they had a family. Their health wasn't too good. Their mental health wasn't too good. But what you expect? How you expect your mental health to be good when you come from a traumatic family and you grew up in poor living conditions? What do you expect? But with all of that, we still got Michael Jordan. We still got Robert F. Smith. You see, we still have these archetypes because we have these internal 5 values. And the clip of this interview I'm getting ready to play, it's about 15 minutes. And I'm going to stop in between and, break down certain points. But when y'all listening to this, y'all going to hear exactly what I just pointed out in today's stream. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to y'all, man. Salute. Let me share my screen. Put up my fair use audio for educational purposes only. For educational purposes only, YouTube. Fair use.
I know you always speak about family, you know what I'm saying? And
can y'all hear that? Put a number 1 in the chat if y'all can hear that. Let me know if y'all can hear that in the chat that I just played. Okay. Okay, y'all can hear it. Cool.
and taking care of family, just doing for family. Like how much time, extra time did you get? What you allowed to spend with your family now that you know COVID had to sit you down for a second?
Man, all my time, 100. All of my time. I got a grandma that's 94 years old.
Wow.
She been in the house ever since then. So recently, I had to make her come out to my house. You know
so
what
you
I mean?
flew her out.
Yeah, like
grandma on the beach.
She was just like, they been in the house. Her auntie, they been in the house for like a year straight. You know what I mean? And I had to really, like, it wasn't easy getting her to like come on, grandma, come to where
what she was saying to you, dog?
Well, I had to trick her into coming. You know what I'm saying? But she enjoyed herself. You know what I mean? When she came, she didn't want to leave. Her and my auntie, they stayed, they kicked it, I catered to them. You know what I mean? Like, they got what they wanted. They gave them my whole floor, gave them my whole room.
Right.
I slept downstairs. Like, this kind of stuff I be into. So I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
So
now, y'all just heard what Dolph said. Dolph said, first, shout out to the homie, I forgot his name, DJ. Let me get his name real quick. My man, he part of FDU. I forgot his name. But shout out to him. Shout out to Hot 107.9. But he asked Dolph, you know, how important family is to him. And he was speaking, Dolph was saying how he had to trick his 94-year-old grandmother and his elderly aunt to come out the house because they've been in the house for a whole year since COVID started. What he did was he tricked them to come out, put them on a private jet, flew them to his house, and he said he catered to his grandma. He catered to his aunt. He said he slept downstairs of his house and gave the whole top floor in his room to his grandmother and his aunt. That's how much he feel and love his family. He said that is the type of stuff he likes to do. So if that is something he likes to do, then that means what? Growing up, he was raised on family value. Which is what? The third life value of the 10 life value system. And it's also the third value of the internal 5 of the 10 life value system. Family value. Dolph was raised to be a family man. So much to the point where he likes to do it. Let's get back into the audio.
So let me ask you a question. So I know you don't care about money, but just an estimate, just so people know, because I don't think people understand like how hard COVID hit the music industry. How much money do you think you lost as a company as a whole? From projects you was working on to your movie that you're putting out, if you could project how much money possibly did you lose?
10 million, easy.
Easy. 10 M's.
10 million, easy.
Hurt my soul.
Easy, bro.
So what new ways did you figure out how to make money during COVID? Because you had the opportunity to sit down and think. Like you said, your schedule's busy. You moving, constant movements, constant going, safe to say, show to show. Sometimes you don't even have
what's going on. Like I'm a person that's like very influential. Right. You know what I mean? And the people in my generation, the younger generation, and even younger generation, people older than me, like everything, like I'm influential from what I drink to what I smoke to what I wear to.
About real estate, you're seeing a lot more young black men investing in different things, like you're saying stocks and bonds and different companies, stuff like that. How important is it for these young cats out here to understand the business and get into this corporate world and invest their money in the right places?
Man, it means everything. You know what I'm saying? It's super important. It's just like I be telling my little brother, he got like, you know, he always at the car lot and the jury.
Wow.
Literally.
So what at that point, what did that do to you being that young? You know what I mean? Like
I felt like I had to start doing something right now. When she told me that, I was about, she's like, you gonna go to the NBA? I'm like, yeah.
What did you want to be? What did you inspire to be growing up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a young 10-year-old Dolph.
So now, my bad, y'all. So now he asked Dolph, what did Dolph want to be growing up? And this is when he's going to get into more of the concept of his family and how he grew up and the whole shebang. So fair use audio, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man, and share the show. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button and share the show. Hit that like button and share the show.
I don't know, bro. When I was 10 years old, I think when I was 10, everybody wanted to play ball.
Right. You got some height on you. You know,
and I'm gonna keep it real, bro. My sister, man, my sister,
what?
Man, I was sitting on the couch, me and my little brother. We were listening to music. My sister came in the house from work, my big sister, and she seen us. She looked at us, and it's like I don't know what it was. It's just something just sparked on. She like, what y'all just gonna sit on the couch? What y'all doing? Like, what y'all doing with yourself? What y'all want to be? Like, what you gonna do? What you gonna be when you grow up? Like, shit, gonna play ball. She like, so you gonna play ball? She's like, you gonna go to the NBA? I'm like, yeah, what the hell? What you trying to say I can't do it?
There you go.
She was like, you know what she told me, bro? Literally, her exact words. You better get you some real dreams.
Wow.
Literally.
So what at that point, what did that do to you being that young? You know what I mean? Like,
I felt like I had started doing something right now. When she told me that, I was about, I say 13. You know what I mean? Like I was probably about 13. I had to figure it out. I was like, man, she ain't nobody finna be talking to me like that.
Hey, tell me for real.
You know what I'm saying? So first thing, I might have been 12 because I taught myself how to cut hair. Okay. I was 12 years old. I taught myself how to cut hair.
Okay.
Now you heard that? He said, off of the motivation that he felt off of his sister, he felt like his older sister was like trying to play him. Like, what y'all gonna do? Because his older sister was already working. You know? See, because Dolph, I'm gonna give y'all a little background. Dolph, his parents, you know, they was in the streets. You know, drinking, drugging, and stuff like that. So he grew up with his grandmother. And all of his siblings grew up with their grandmother. So his, you know, the older children rather, they have to take care of the younger children, so they gotta work and do all of that stuff. So he was saying that his older sister came in from work and you know, basically she was mad and was kind of shitting on him like, y'all better get y'all some real dreams. What you mean you going to the NBA? So Dolph used that as motivation. He used that as fuel, ambition. And he taught himself a skill. He taught himself how to cut hair. At 13, he taught himself how to cut hair. You see? So he grew up in an environment where he knew I have to be productive. You see? His sisters was working. He grew up in an environment where he knew he had to do something. He had to move. He had to have ambition. He had to have goals. He had to have drive. He had to want something in life because everybody around him was moving and he had to get to moving. So he taught himself how to cut hair. Taught himself how to cut hair. And why did he teach himself how to cut hair? Because he said, ain't nobody gonna be talking to me like that. That's masculinity. That's what that is. Nobody's gonna be talking to me like that. Meaning, I'm gonna learn how to do something so nobody's gonna look at me like I need them for anything. And see, that is something that us as young boys growing up in poverty, we learn early, especially if you were in the direct care of women. If you were in the direct care of women, you knew from young that you're going to have to produce. You're going to have to do something. You're going to have goals. You're going to have to achieve them goals. You're going to have to produce. And that coming from that environment, it gave him that drive and that hunger. And he taught himself something. That's powerful, man. Pay attention. Because they always try to shit on Pookie and Ray Ray. But when they talk about black men being resilient, they're not talking about them squares that's in them college seats. And shout out to them, because I was in them college seats too. And I look forward to going back. But when you hear the narrative that they spew about black men and how we never give up and how we are champions, they're not talking about them. They talk about the guys like Young Dolph, the guys like Young Jeezy, the guys like Jay-Z. These guys. Let's continue with the audio. Fair use, YouTube, fair use.
I was cutting everybody her in the neighborhood, everybody her at school.
So you still got skills in it?
No.
Okay. You got no more?
I ain't gonna say that, but that lasted for a couple of years until I moved on to other hustles. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
But I remember walking at my grandma's house, and it was a building down the street. I was like, man, I'm gonna buy that building. I'm gonna turn it to a barbershop. I'm gonna buy a lot of buildings and just, you know what I mean? But I didn't do that. It didn't go like that. It ain't go like that.
Sometimes we get derailed, you know what I'm saying? It's all
I got
good.
distracted, you know what I'm saying? But it led to good things.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got distracted. I wasn't cutting hair, but I was still doing my thing. But I always knew I was gonna have something. I always knew, I don't know why, bro, but I just always knew I was the one. Right. I always knew what I wanted to do. I was like, man, I'm gonna take care of my family. I'm gonna get my mom out the hood. Like, we was down bad. I remember telling my grandma, like, all my mom and daddy need to do is get out the hood. Like, if they get out the environment, they change their ways a little bit. They ain't gonna turn to no angels, but they'll be doing better.
Right.
So it's like,
now pay attention to what Dolph just said, because what Dolph just said is very important and is key. He said he always knew what he wanted to do. He always knew he was going to be the one. He always knew he was going to get his family out the hood because he knew if his parents got out of the environment, that their behavior would change a little bit, their culture. You see that? See how he understands how the environment affects the things that people do. The environment affects people's ways and actions. That's key. Pay attention to that. This is not a dumb dude. This is not no dude that's just from, he just from Memphis, you know, some dumb Memphis dude. No. This is why I listen to these brothers speak, man. He always knew he was the one. That's spiritual value. He knew that what? That his dwelling value, number 5, the conditions in which him and his family was in, was affecting his family. He understood this. So what he wanted to do, he wanted to heal his family. That's why he don't care about money. Let's go back to the audio.
Like, first thing first, once I got up, I moved them my way out the hood. You know what I'm saying? And it changed a little bit for them. So
I gotta point that out. He just said when he first got a lot of money, the first thing he did was moved his parents out the hood. And he said that changed them a little bit. It helped them. See, he understands the concept of biocothyron, whether if he say it or not. But he just explained the relationship between culture and environment. Pay attention, y'all.
man, you know, like, it's just certain things when you see or when you realize when you young. I just always knew I was gonna have some money and I was gonna take care of everybody. You know what I mean? And that's what I've been doing for, man, ever since I was a teenager.
Right. So when did rap click? Like when it was like, I'm a rapper. Like when did you realize, man, young dog, I'm a rapper. I'm in the streets still. I'm still doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? Still with the homies, but I'm an entertainer. I'm a rapper. Like they really messing with me. At what point did you realize that? Like was it a mixtape in or at the beginning? Because I feel like you were always overly confident. Like you ain't never struck me to be nobody that didn't have confidence. Even when I first met you,
it's really a kind of a bad thing too at the same time with being so confident because people take it as like
being arrogant.
Exactly.
Conceited.
You know what I mean? Instead of taking it like, hey, I need to have that same kind of attitude. Right. You know what I mean? Like you can talk stuff into existence. You can live stuff into existence. You know what I mean? Like everything I'm doing now, I told everybody I was gonna be doing it. You know what I mean? I didn't know I was.
Did y'all hear what that man just said? He said, you can talk things into existence. You can yield things into existence. See, he understands the importance of spiritual value and the belief in oneself. You see? The power in the belief of oneself. He said, people look at my confidence as arrogance instead of saying, well, maybe I should have the confidence that he got. Because with that confidence, he manifests things and he pulls things to him. He attracts things that he need and want to him. You see? That's spiritual value. Let's continue with the audio.
I'm gonna be rapping though, but once I started doing music, we keep it 100. When I did my first show in Memphis, I was like, I'm rapping.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like I did my first show, and it was just, I just got all the love in the world. You know what I mean? All the way around the board, and I just took it from there. You know what I mean? Like I'm the type of person once I see something or somebody show me something, it's like it's over. You let me see this, you show me too much. I'm finna get ready to make the most out of it. That's what I did.
So speaking of showing somebody, like where did you get your business model from? Because I feel like you were one of the elite independent artists. I mean, independent artists and have an independent record label. Like, where did you get your model from? Like, who was you looking at? Who was you paying attention to be like, you know what? I don't need to go get no deal. I got my own money to invest in my own self. I believe in me. Ain't nobody gonna believe in me like I believe in me. So where did you get your model of your business from? Or was it something you just came up with?
Man, it came from my grandma. 100%, bro. Came from anime.
What anime say, man?
It came from my uncle. You know what I'm saying?
What they say, man?
Now you heard that? Jay Nix, that's his name. Jay Nix, DJ Jay Nix. Shout out to Jay Nix. Jay Nix just asked Dolph, where do you get your business model from? Where do you get your business acumen from? He said he get it from his uncle. But his uncle get it from who? His grandmother. He get it from his grandmother, who taught his uncle, and his uncle taught him. Family, back to another internal 5 value. Family. He learned how to do business in the music industry as well as young Dolph is doing. I'm gonna just say he's the richest independent artist. Like, period. As far as like rapper, independently, fully independent, young Dolph. For sure. And he been doing it for years. He said he learned that from his family. Don't you hear in this space all the time? Business starts at home. Started at home for Dolph.
Bro, what she said the most was use your common sense. Like she told me that every day. Like ask her anything, she like use your common sense. You know what I mean? And she was always like, I ain't gonna be here forever, so you ain't gonna like. She tell me this. I'm 8 years old, 9 years old, 7 years old. I got damn grandma, like just tell me like it's something simple. Like grandma, where the garbage bag is at? Use your common sense. Like tell me where the garbage bag is at. But it was just. She was just on it, bro. You know what I mean? And she put me up on just taking care of folks. You know what I'm saying? She was always like, I remember before she passed, I was trying to buy her a new car. Rest in peace. And she was like, I don't want no damn car. You know what I'm saying? She was like, get your little brother a car. She was always like instilling in me to do for everybody else. You know what I mean? Like take care of your little brother, take care of your mom and daddy. I remember I hated my mom and daddy. Like growing up, I had built like a wall up against them. Like I really did not like my mom and dad. And like I ain't like like man, they chose the streets over us. Like fuck them.
Right, facts.
You know what I'm saying? But she was like, but she was not with it. Like, but she was like like she'd give me the business, bro. Like, boy, you better get your shit together. You know what I mean?
Do you think that like
Now, that's key. I let that part play out because that's key. That's key. Not only did his grandmother teach him to be an independent thinker, she didn't think for him. She would always tell him, use your common sense. In other words, figure it out yourself. Don't be so quick to ask for help. Figure it out first. You a man. You're going to be a man. I'm not going to be here forever. You got to figure things out. So that is what those types of things he said instilled in him to be his own boss, because he always had that independent mindset. Here's another key point, because give me a second, y'all. Another key thing that we have to point out is, and a lot of people may say, listening to this, that Dolph may have grew up in a gynocracy. No, because based on what Dolph just said, his grandmother did not allow him to hate his mother or his father. See, that's key. See, he said he grew up hating his parents because he felt like his parents chose the streets over their children. His grandmother did not allow him to hate his parents. That shows that she's not a gynocratic woman. And she used to tell him, boy, basically, cut that mess out. They still your parents at the end of the day. So that's just another key point that I had to point out. Let's get back to the audio. Fair use, fair use. Y'all like the stream, man? Y'all share the stream. Shout out to everybody in the building.
Just the anger that you had towards your parents, like gave you your drive to be like, let me show them.
I think the anger I had towards them was just, they were like something personal. But like with her, she was always on me so hard. It's like, I just felt like she was the meanest person in the world. And she was always like, it was just everything I used to do, but I couldn't do no right. Everything was just a problem. You know what I mean? And I just made it my business, like, to show her, like, I'm like, man, once I get old enough, I'm gonna show her, like, you know what I'm saying? I got this. You know what I mean? So once I became a teenager, I started taking care of my little brother. Started helping my mom and dad. You know what I mean? Started paying their bills. Started sending my sisters money. Like, I started just doing everything. Just keep it 100. I took her place.
Right.
Everything she was doing, it turned to all of my responsibilities.
So wait a minute, you didn't name a whole lot of siblings. How many siblings does Dolph have? Because you just named.
I got 4. I got two brothers. I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, so speaking of family, Key Glock is related to you, correct? Or is it
that's my cousin.
Okay, your cousin. So what made you sign Key Glock? Out of all the people, like, you know what I mean? Like, what made him special? Considering that you come from a family that probably all was inspired to do music, you know what I'm saying, to do something. You know, I can't
really was just him. You know what I mean? He wasn't on my heels, bro. He wasn't on my line. He wasn't.
In this part of the interview, Key Glock, if y'all fans of Young Dolph, Key Glock is one of his main artists, and that's actually his cousin. And now he's gonna talk about why he signed his cousin. Why did he sign his family as an artist to him? Once again, that family value. Once again.
Wasn't, you know, how they coming, bro, like, hey, bro, sign me,
Right.
like, hey, I do music, I'm doing music. It wasn't none of that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Keep it 100, but my auntie called me. And she was like, hey, man, that's what they called me. And my whole family called me. She like, man, I don't know what you doing, but I need you to get Keith. He getting into a lot of bullshit. He just went to jail. He in jail for something. And I need you to get him and keep him with you and take him with you, because I don't know what the hell you doing and what he on. And when she said it was like a serious conversation from beginning to ending. And she was dead serious and she meant it. It's like, if I didn't do it, she was gonna be on my ass. Like, I told you to do such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? Right. This is my Uncle Vic's wife. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's like they had a big part of raising me, like growing up. Like my Uncle Vic and Yolanda, like they were like my second parents. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents, they was missing. You know what I mean? They was all over the place. So they filled a little void for them. She was like, man, I need you to get them. So it really wasn't even about no music. Once I really tuned into him, and she like, get him, Doc, he way younger than me.
Right.
Now, notice what Dolph said. Dolph said in the beginning, when he went and got his little cousin, it had nothing to do with music. It had something to do with his aunt calling him and telling him, yo, go get your cousin and take him with you. Because he wilding out in the streets. Key Glock was one of them young dudes that was running the streets, on savage mode. Op hunting. Spinning blocks. That's what his little cousin was doing. And his uncle and his aunt-in-law, who basically was like his second parents, like he said. So he gonna respect what they say. He gonna honor what they say. Why? Because they took care of him. They raised him. They took part in his rearing. So that's why he went and grabbed his cousin up, because of what? You must do what? Hold down the family. Not about no money. It wasn't about no money in the beginning. It was about, I got to go save my little cousin, because that's my family. Let's continue. There's only a couple of more minutes.
His mama is the same age as my big sister. Like my big sister, the same one that actually tell me couldn't play no ball. Right. They was like they around the same age. So right. they older than me. You know what I mean? When we was little, when I was small, Glock mama went to the Fed. She had did some shit. And she was gone for a long ass time. You know what I mean? Like long ass time, over a decade. And shit, he was just a young nigga. He was just out here going crazy, running wild, doing everything. You know what I mean? And when she called me, she was just like, get him. So it really wasn't about no music. She was just like, get him, because he headed down the wrong way. You know how it be, like older people don't be understanding, they don't be getting it. Like when you young, you in the streets, you out here, you in the hood, like you don't do shit. You don't do stupid shit. It's just in us. You know what I'm saying? But by this time, I'm running a full-fledged business, a multi-million-dollar company. And my auntie know how smart I am. And she know what's up with me. So she like, get him. You know what I mean? And then she was like, I think he's doing music too. But the crazy part about it, he was already around me and the rest of my young niggas, but he was never saying that. Right. I was finna go to a show one day, and my little partner, R.I.P. J Money, he was like, man, we gotta go pick your cousin up. I was like, who you talking about? Phil? He was like, no. He was like, what the hell you talking about? He's talking about Keith. Right. Pick him up. I'm talking about little Keith. He like Glock. I was like, man, they crazy. Like, bro, he around, he everywhere we at, but he ain't saying nothing. Right. He ain't come to me, cuz I'm rapping now, cuz I'm doing this, I'm doing that. He know nothing. He come around me at all the video shoots, the studio, he just playing in the background, just chilling, just in the cut. You know what I'm saying? But the whole time, this is my family. Right. Ain't nobody else, my kinfolk, everybody else is from my hood or from my section, from my town, from my apartments. Him, this my real little cousin, but he ain't even up, he ain't pushing up like everybody else, bro. He chilling. Right. So once I tuned into him, now he done grew up. He grew up, he a teenager. Man, I hear his music. Music hard as hell. Right. Then I get to rapping with him, and I see where his mind at. He ain't going for no bullshit. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he like, man, I'm like, what you trying to do? I asked him, like, what you want to do? What you trying to do? He told me what was up. I told him what was up. It's like, once we got done with that conversation, it was just, he was like, I feel like he was like, bro, I'm finna show this nigga something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, bro, his music, he just started coming with music. He made that shit his focus because he wasn't focused on music at first. He was just doing it a little bit.
Right.
But once he focused on music, and I felt like he was like, bro, I'm finna prove this nigga something. Like, I'm finna show him. I was like, oh yeah, it's time.
Let's do that. So what is next for PRE? Hey, bro.
So that's the end of that. Shout out Young Dolph. Shout out DJ J Nix, man. And that's pretty much how the interview ended. You know, where he was basically, you know, after that he asked him, you know, what's next for his label, stuff like that. But as y'all can see, a lot of us brothers, even the brothers who are not successful, the brothers who are successful, the majority of us who come from nothing, come from very, very humble beginnings. We grow up. And a lot of us are successful and able to accomplish the things that we've accomplished in life because of this, because of the internal 5 of the 10 life value system. Shout out to my brother Father's Time. You see? And if you listen to Dolph closely, you heard him mention these internal 5 of these 10 life values. You heard him mention them. See? So this is when you hear them say, black men are resilient, black men are this, black men are that. It is because of those internal 5. Remember what I say. The internal 5 of the 10 life value system, which is spiritual value, health value, family value, appearance value, and dwelling value, is the making of a man and the breaking of a man. Let me repeat that. The internal 5 of our illustrious 10 life value system, created by my brother Father's Time, is the making and the breaking of a man. You are not made in the external 5. You are not broke because you don't have money. You are broke because you are broken. Because a person that is broken gonna stay broke. You see? Because you're broke broke in. You know? And this is why we say we have to heal before we build. See, because like I said, the internal 5 is the making and the breaking of a man. This is why we have to heal. See, we heal in the internal 5. We build in the external 5. We build in the external 5. Mobility, education, profession, leisure, and wealth. That's where you build. That's not where you heal. That is not where a man is made. A man is not made once he makes money. A man is not made once he receives a PhD. A man is not made once he's able to wear Brooks Brothers suits. and wear messenger bags. A man is made in his spirit. A man is made in his health, in his family, in his appearance of himself first. See, because if you have poor spiritual value, you're going to appear to the world as poor. Piss poor. You see? And a man's dwelling value, which is the fifth value. Dwelling, which is the conditions in which a man lives. The environment. That is where a man is made and a man is broken, in the internal five. And this is why black men are great. This is why you're great, brothers. This is why you're great, black man. This is why you're great. This is why you could grow up with cockroaches and rats running around your house and today live in a goddamn Ritz-Carlton. It is because of that spiritual value. It is because of that family. Even that hustling uncle that may have been selling drugs, but he showed you what supply and demand was. See, the product just changes. So let's not get hung up on the product. The product just changes, but the business doesn't. Man, salute to my brother Father's Time, man. Salute. Salute, family. He said, humbled by your support, fam. You already know, man. A-game family, A-game nation. We here, and we here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. You see? So shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through to today's show. But before I wrap this show up, I'm going to let y'all know, as y'all know, we are in graduation season. This is graduation season. And my youngest son, he graduated. So tomorrow, I will not have a live show. I will be dropping 2 pre-records. So stay tuned for that. But Friday, I will not have a show. But I will be dropping some pre-records. So y'all stay tuned for that. Because, you know, we're going to go out and celebrate my boy and his accomplishments. So, but I will be back Saturday. I will be back Saturday in time for first. Shout out to Red Sings the Blues. I will be being interviewed by him tomorrow on his platform. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Red Sings the Blues and click that reminder button. He's interviewing me on his platform. Shout out to Red Sings the Blues. He will be interviewing me at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Red Sings the Blues. And as y'all know, Saturday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here, DS1 Comedy Hour and Friends. Open panel, open show. Y'all come through, y'all show love, and we going to have some fun. So I'm going to say this again, y'all. Just another reminder. Tomorrow, I will not be doing a live show. Got to go and celebrate my youngest son and his accomplishments. We in graduation season. But I will be back Saturday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. We're going to have some fun. DS1 Comedy Hour and Friends. But before we do that, make sure y'all go check me out on Red Sings the Blues. Just type in Red Sings the Blues on YouTube. Go over there and subscribe. Catch me over there at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. You enjoyed the show. Donate to the show. CashApp $SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. That's CashApp $SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV is where you can go to support the show. Shout out to everyone who has supported. Shout out to everyone who hit the Cash App, who hit the super chat. I appreciate the love and the support. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the show. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And remember, brothers, we got to heal before we build. We have to heal before we build. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
We're A-Game, a 100% Black-owned company with an all-natural product and world-class customer service. We're headquartered in California, and we manufacture, package, and ship right here in the United States. We ship to more than 125 distributors worldwide. Normal processing is 2 to 3 days, and we employ virtual tracking until our product is received. So, no matter where you are in the world, here we come, and we're bringing your A-game.